welcome to my house. Come on in. Hey guys, how's it going? So welcome to my house. So obviously this video Hey guys, welcome to my video. So from what you can see, I'm actually in the US. So this is a video pretty much of the differences between a German house and an American house. As you can already tell just from the outside, from how they look, these houses look very, very different. I know not all houses will look like this. Some will be bigger, some will be smaller, etc, etc. But yeah, as you can see just from the outside, how the look and the feel of them are completely different. I believe that the houses in the US feel a little bit warmer than they do in Germany. The houses seem to be a little bit colder, mainly because one, the houses are built differently, so that way the heat is insulated differently, and when it's hot outside, the inside is still going to be a little bit cool and whatnot. And as you can also tell, just from the roofs and everything, the colors are different as well. A lot of German houses also have solar panels on them, and the US isn't quite there yet. But yeah, so that is also, as you can tell, the outside of the houses are very, very different for different reasons. Depending on where you are in the US, the outside will be a little bit different, mainly because they are protected against different things. Some houses may be a little bit cheaper, so that way they can be rebuilt after hurricanes and whatnot. But yeah, all right, now let's head on inside. And what you can also tell about a US house is that it is very open when you walk in. Obviously not all houses will be like this, and that's my tripod right there. But you can see it is very, very open. And firstly, I have to take off my shoes. Rule of the house. This is also very common in Germany as well. Your shoes would be at the door and everything, because you do not want to walk into a house with shoes on. But yeah, it is very open. And the reason why this is Americans like to be very inviting and warm, and when you can see into a house like this, it means you are welcome into a house and invited into the house as well. And you can also see the family photos. I'm not in a lot of them, so this one I'm not in, mainly because I was living overseas. And yeah. As you guys can see, the kitchen in the US is typically a lot more open, and I, in my personal opinion, find them to be a lot bigger in the US. Germany, they seem to be literally confined and everything, and a lot smaller and compact. There's not a lot of room to move around. As you can see, I have so much room to move around. I'm like doing jumping jacks. You can do just so much in here. Some things that are also different are the stove. I like to think that the stove is much bigger, as well as the ovens. And then the infamous fridges in the US are absolutely huge as well. So when you open them up, they are just like, what? They're so big, you can fit so much. As you can see here, we have our juices and stuff, we have food, we have our veggies, eggs and everything. And then you also have the freezers. Not all fridges have freezers underneath them like this, but you have room for it as well. What's also very popular in the US is that a lot of us actually have an extra fridge in our garage. We do have an extra fridge here, and we have a deep freezer is what we call it. So deep freezer is kind of like what you see right now. My friend, this is his freezer that they use at home and everything. So German fridges tend to be smaller, mainly because Germans go shopping a lot more, food shopping that is. They like to get their food fresh and everything, so their fridges tend to be smaller, so that way they can have more room for that fresh produce and everything. As you can see here, my friend's fridge is pretty empty compared to what our fridge looks like here in the US. In the US, we don't go shopping as much, and we tend to stock up, and so that is why our fridges are more stocked and full. Okay, so next we have the dining room. And the dining room is kind of a little bit different in the US compared to what it is in Germany. So typically in Germany, you only have one dining room, and your dining room is typically separate from your kitchen. Whereas in the US, the kitchen and the dining room are kind of together, as you can see here. So we have that one table and everything, but we also have a separate dining room as well. And this is what we actually call our dining room, whereas this, what you guys had previously seen, is the kitchen table. This is where I do all my vlogs at and where I'm actually talking to you right now from. So this is considered the kitchen table, not the dining room. The kitchen table in the US is pretty much where we eat all the time, and then the dining room is for special occasions. Maybe you're having a dinner party, or you're having people over for Christmas, or in the US we celebrate Thanksgiving, or even Easter. It is only for special occasions, and you also have different silverware for it as well. Whereas in Germany, you only have one dining room, I guess you can really say, which is what you are seeing here. And the dining rooms tend to be a little bit smaller than what they are in the US, whereas in Germany it's literally just for eating, and yeah. And then our backyard. Our backyard in the US tend to look a little different than in Germany as well. Germans find their privacy super important. So in Germany, you will see a lot of the backyard separated completely. So they will have their trees up or some type of fence or something, so that way they are private and you cannot see into their backyards. In the US, we may have some fences, as you can see my neighbor does have. They do have a fence for their backyard, but that is because they have a dog. But us, you can see we don't have a fence, and our other neighbor doesn't have a fence neither. We are trying to change. We don't really mind about the privacy because the privacy is inside the house, and outside the house we're like, what? It is what it is. Anything outside of the house is gonna happen outside of the house. And we also have our living room, as you can see here. Our living rooms are typically connected to the kitchen, and as you can also see, it's literally no boundaries whatever. The kitchen and the living room are practically connected to one another. Whereas in Germany, you have that separation. I know a lot of the houses that I've been to, it was actually the kitchen separated by a door, which was then the dining area where you would eat your food, separated by another door, and then it would be the living room. And this is very common in Germany, at least from my knowledge. Whereas in the US, our kitchens and our living rooms are typically always connected. I think it has to do with the whole, oh, I'm gonna cook and watch TV, or the kids could be playing in the living room, and so that way the parents are able to cook in the kitchen and keep an eye on them. I'm not quite sure where this actually came from in the US, but this is pretty common in what you will actually see in the US compared to in Germany. Let's move on to the bathrooms. So here in the US, we have a lot of half baths. And I know a lot of people were like, what's a half bathroom? Because when people ask, oh, how many bathrooms do you have? I always say 3.5. And everyone's like, what's the half? In Germany, you do have some half bathrooms. A half bathroom is just without a shower or a bathtub. It is only a toilet and somewhere to wash your hands, as you can see. But what also tends to happen in Germany is that most of the time, well, not really most of the time, but sometimes the bathroom, so like the toilet, is kind of separate from the sink. I know my apartment in Germany had the shower and the toilet in one room, and then the sink was actually outside of it. Why that actually is, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it has to do with like architecture or how it's built. I don't really know. If you know the answer to why that is, leave a comment down below and let me know why that is. But for us, it is always in the same room. I don't personally ever think I've ever seen the toilet in a separate room from the sink. They've always been in the same room. But then you look at these big bathrooms that we do have, like you are seeing right now. So I only took a video of 2 of our bathrooms, our master bathroom, which is in my mom's room, and then the bathroom that I use. So as you can see, this bathroom, you have the his and hers sinks is what we like to call it. I actually share this with my brother, so we actually have his and his, if that makes sense. We use different size of the sink. And our famous shower curtains. I did bring this up in a different video that we have shower curtains. Obviously, people do have shower curtains in Germany, but it is least likely to see than you actually see in the US. In the US, you will always see a shower curtain, whereas in Germany, I think only in my apartment, I lived in 4 different places and only in 1 place did I have a shower curtain, and that was with my roommate. I would also like to point out the differences in the bathtubs, that the bathtubs in Germany tend to be a little bit deeper. People were also talking about that in the other video, but I do still see the bathtubs being a little bit deeper, and I kind of think that helps a little bit with not having a shower curtain because it's less splash going onto the floor and everything. Whereas with us, the bathtubs aren't that deep, and so we do have a little bit more splash that will go into the floor. I know even half the time when starting the water comes splashing out and everything, so that could be a reason, but I'm not quite sure. Another thing that you actually see as well is that we do not have any windows in our bathrooms. You will almost always have a window in your bathroom in Germany, mainly because you have to air out that bathroom. For us, we have vents in our bathrooms, and that's how we air out our bathrooms, so to speak. I think my mom is actually gonna kill me because I am filming her room. I told her I was gonna be filming the house last week and she still hasn't done anything, but let's keep that between us that I actually am filming this without her knowing. Shh, let's keep it a secret. But our bedrooms are also a little bit different. We have 4 bedrooms here. We have 3 bedrooms, and 2 of those bedrooms actually have bathrooms inside of them. I want to say the size of the rooms compared to Germany are pretty much the same. The only difference that I really see is the master bedroom. As you can see, my mom's room is huge. Huge. It is gigantic. You can fit another room inside of this room. It is absolutely ridiculous. But another thing that I tend to see a lot is the slant that you tend to find in German rooms. That slant is either going to be in the bathroom like we saw previously, or it's going to be in the bedroom where you actually see here at my best friend's place in Germany. This is his house, and yeah, thank him for doing all this for me. You tend to have that slant, whereas here in the US, everything is going to be squared or kind of like boxed out. Oh man, if you thought this was it, there's so much more different to an American house than a German house. So you know what you should do? You should hit that subscribe button, because I'm doing a part 2 of this video where I'm talking about our light switches, to where we put our clothes, etc, etc, etc. There's so much difference to the US and Germany that a lot of people don't even know, and they're actually very, very small and very interesting. So again, hit that choking on my spit. Just try that again. So hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss this video and also other videos that I'm uploading as well. Hit one of the videos on the screen to watch another video just like this or in a similar sense, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.